It's a horror game.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We are here for WOR PC Tier 3. I am joined alongside by my good friend Frostbreath. How's it good to be back?
It is good to be back, indeed. It's a new season, new tracks, and a whole load of new drivers. Some of the old Tier 3 guys have moved on to higher tiers. Some of the lower tiers have moved up to our one, and we'll see plenty of familiar names returning from the previous season as well.
Definitely.
So all in all, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so here's just a quick rundown. As you can see, here's the placements for our tier. We've got Gabriel Quintino, Elliot Norman, Ryan Grob, Wilson Hall, Ivan Santamir, Zach Miles, Keanu Latoile, Ben Alikis, Amos Lorito, Stefano Ramazio, Quintin Dupree, Deha returns, Alessandro Finn, Candy King, Danny Coe, Luke Wolstow, Tamas Kokony, Dimitri Minik, Yuma, I'm going to call him Yuma, just to make it easy, and Drax. Those are our main 20 drivers. They're our full-time drivers for this season. The rest below are reserves. I'm not going to read them out because it's a long list. Here's our calendar for the season. We go to Bahrain today, which is great for season 17. Good start. It's only a 10-race calendar, so one race shorter than last season. We then go to Saudi Arabia, Imola, Azerbaijan, followed by Canada. Yes, we go all the way over the pond to Canada. Then we return back to Italy for Monza. Then we go to China, as China was actually the last race of last season. Then we go to the Austrian hills, followed by Miami, and then Brazil to finish off the season. I believe we're about to get in. Yes, we are. I can see we're about to get into this. So this is going to be quite exciting, to be honest. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's also interesting because it's not only the last race of this season, it will also be the last race on this game entirely. This is the final season on F1 23, and then the long wait begins for the next one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what F1 24 can bring. Of course, the new cars, new livery is going to be very interesting. And new teams, remember, because we've got if we remember correctly, we've got the good old team of Racing Bulls, or Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, and Sauber returns. And so yeah, definitely a couple of things there for us to be watching for. Here's a little idea that I've been having lately is what do we expect to sort of see in the next maybe few months, because the season's going to be quite long. Quite a lot of drivers we already know. We already know of. But do you think this season's going to bring something maybe a bit different? Because we've seen the return of a previous champion, Aljat, the man who, if I'm correct, won the championship back in season 15. He returns to Tier 3 after not being around last season. I mean, I've actually got a small list here of all of our champions, our previous 3 champions. Of course, last season, Matthew Bassett claimed the championship in style in the last race of all. And then, of course, the race before, then the season before that, we had this man, Aljat, the Williams on screen. And then the season before that, we had Andres Lopez. And in those 3 seasons, we have seen Mr. Tumas Lammen, who's now in PC Tier 2, he was denied twice of the championship by both of those drivers in season 14 and 16. So definitely something could be good here tonight.
It's also interesting. I can see the name Balint Elekis returning. The last season started with Bahrain as well. He won that race actually from Tumas Lammen and Matthew Bassett. So this is definitely a specialty of his. He's alongside Elliott in the Williams car, so I wouldn't be surprised if Williams is going to be a strong team this season.
Well, with that, let's see what Aljat can do on his lap. Heading down the pit straight here at Bahrain. It is very long. It takes about 20 seconds to get round the whole straight. Now into turn 1, very tight, very good from our previous world champion here in Tier 3. Now, heading down onto the second straight, DRS once again. It'll be a while before he gets DRS for the third and final time going around this track. But through turn 4, very nice, keeping it to the apex. And very nice off of the exit as well from Aljat. A 28.576 for the middle sector. Very strong from the Williams driver, especially for just the first laps in qualifying. I was expecting maybe a tenth or two slower. He struggles a little bit with that corner with a bit of rear locking. Definitely helping him with turning, but struggling in other ways now. Coming through the left-hander. He's going to... Oh, he
Whoa.
touched the curbs a little bit too much. You don't want to touch that curb, but he did. And in the end, he might have lost... I would say he's probably going to lose maybe 1 or 2 tenths through that corner. But remember, these are the first runs in qualifying, so we've got to give them some time to get warmed up with track. Of course, they would have done practice, but... it's still, this is the real deal. This is where everything goes down. It's a 1 minute 6.401 in the middle sector. So far, Purple Buddy is the first driver. So far, we've only got 2 corners, or really 1 proper corner left here. And I didn't mean to go off board there. And going through the right-hander, it's very nice, very good from Aljat. And coming up to the line, let's see what he can do. It's a 1 minute 27.921 for his first lap. And that's immediately beaten by Wilson Hall with a 1 minute 27.822. And Alessandro fits just right down the middle with Ryan Grob going into the 27.7s. And then his teammate, Tomas Kokeny, going into the 0.5s. So definitely some strong laps going on here. Deha's just gone P2. We saw Amos Cerrito go into P4 there. Pulkis up into... P4 now, just about 15 thousandths ahead of Mr. Amos Cerrito. Keanu Latour goes P4. This man, he had a good start to his championship last season, but kind of fell away after that. So definitely something to be looked at in future. But so far, a couple of drivers looking a little bit interesting out there. Definitely a good start. We see Mizzy down in P9. Got Stefano Romazio, not the start he wanted to see, and only P11 for the Ferrari man. Quinton Dupree, P13, Candy Kings, P14, and Yuma, on his debut, is in P15, as we see Lucas Wolstow go up into P3, 1 minute 27.7, but that still sits almost exactly 2 tenths off of the fastest. And that is quite a big gap, especially between P1 and P3.
Kokeny is actually setting a very nice banker lap there indeed. I'm currently following Balint Alikis. He's just headed onto the back straight, heading home. There's a little bit of traffic ahead. Actually, he's already abandoned his attempt, as I can see here. His battery is empty, so this one hasn't succeeded for him at all, meaning he'll have to try again later. Several other drivers who have yet to put in their lap. Dmitry Minich, for example, currently going through turn 10, looking nice and stable. Earlier we saw Elliott doing a brilliant drift going through the corner. It was absolutely amazing to see. Very interesting start to the season for him indeed, as we're following Deja Domachoglu's teammates. They are returning, of course, for this season with a potential vengeance. I hunger for victory, I'd say, for him, because he's been denied quite a few victories last season when he was driving here for the championship. Also interesting to know, Keanu Latour and Amos Cerrito had been teammates previous season as well in AlphaTauri. They've moved up the ranks to Red Bull. There we end. Then Dmitry Minich in the main straight. Let's see how we will come across the line. It's a 27.9. It's only P15, which is nowhere near good enough. So switching then to Ivan Santamaria, purple middle sector, according to the game at least. We all know we'll have to take that one with a little bit of a grain of salt. There's not much traffic anymore for him. He's late to the line, but that will give him plenty of space on track. Everybody's back in. All he needs to do now is nurse the car across the line. What time is it going to be for Ivan Santamaria? He can be quick. Will he be quick, though? Not yet. It's only P14. So, 18 drivers with a lap time, 2 without. Let's see what happens in round 2 for qualifying.
I have to say that was quite a bit of a disappointing lap from Ivan Santamaria. I expected a little bit more, because if you weren't commentating this tier at the time, I don't think you were even commentating at the time at all, but Ivan Santamaria was a championship contender back in season 15.
I've commentated up and down the line a little bit, several tiers, but I do know Ivan Santamaria from another league or team competition where WR competes in as well, alongside with NLR, which is his team at the moment, and I know he can be really quick.
Yeah, thing is, I know this is a close grid, but thing is, this is a grid he's used to. And also, especially with some of his main rivals, like Tuomas Lamminen, just many other rivals that he's had in the past. There's so many to name that not only I can't remember, but also there's just so many that, honestly, P14, I know that's sitting where a previous champion, Aljat, is sitting, down in P13, just 200ths ahead of him. But so far, these two, not looking good, especially for, their history.
I think Elliott might be a little bit rusty after being off for one season. There's a whole slew of cars, by the way, leaving the pit lane as we speak. They're all headed through the second DRS straight at the moment. So soon, we'll be seeing several drivers trying to improve their lap. At the moment, still Tamas Kökeni on provisional pole. Dea Demircioglu right behind him with a 27.5 as well. About 800ths of a second difference right there. Then Luca Walstow and Ryan Grubb on the second row with a 27.7. There's plenty of drivers with a 27.7 through 27.9. The difference, in fact, between P3 and P17 is nearly 0.3 of a second. That is how competitive this grid is going to be this season. And I'd say that's really promising.
And we said in the beginning, Aljat was the first to cross the line. And he's going to be the first one to go for the second runs here. Let's go on board with this man just for the start of the lap. So far, Ryan Grubb has a 5-place grid penalty. That could be a restart.
Definitely.
Thinking about it, yeah, it will be probably a restart, which is disappointing. It just means you guys have to wait around a bit longer. Now, coming into turn 4, Aljat, that car looks... I'm not sure whether it's the little bits of lag he has or it's just the car, but he's 0.2 up, which is good. Ryan Grubb with another 5-place grid penalty. Definitely going to be a restart, I think. But so far, good start for Aljat. 0.2 up. That would currently put him up into the top 5, where he currently sits, actually possibly into the top 4. So he's looking very good. Woolstow as well with a penalty there, but we will overlook those as it is just the game being the game.
They're like, if he gets it, I might as well get one too.
Yeah. He wants to be buddies. He wants to be penalty buddies. He wants to do an extra knock-on. So, coming through Sector 2, very good. Almost 0.4 up. This could actually land him into provisional pole. So, Aljat, looking very good on his first run. He looks a lot more confident with his car.
Yes.
A little bit of understeer, but he's definitely looking
shaken off the rust.
Yeah, he's slow, slightly, but coming up to the line, he's going to open the DRS, and across the line, he lost about a 10th in the last sector.
Yep.
He's going to be really frustrated there because that looked like it would have been provisional pole, but I guess he'll still take P3. I believe the next one is a Haas to cross the line. I'm not sure which Haas it is. Is it either Haas?
No, it's Dimitri or Dea. Neither of them have started their hot laps yet. They're about to start it now.
Of course they have.
There we go.
Laps. Who's next? It's a Williams, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the other Williams. Balint Lickies is about to cross the line.
I was trying to find him. P11.
There we go.
Balint Lickies. Start of last season, this man was up in the top 5. He's only P12 with that. As Alessandro Finn goes up to P7. And we see Polkis very close to provisional pole, but just not close enough. I believe we got Wilson Hall coming up next. He had a good start to qualifying, but down in P11 now. It really shows how much time he's got to try and find. It's only going to be 600ths, but it's enough to get up to P6.
Interesting,
He's
yeah.
going to be quite happy with that, I think. I believe it's his teammate, Luca Woolstow, who goes up to P4, finding a 10th and a half. Very, very good there. I believe we've got Gabriel Quintino next up to the line. Yes, we do. He comes across and he goes fastest. A 1 minute 27.3. I didn't think for second runs we'd be seeing drivers up into the 0.3s yet. I was thinking about 0.5s, maybe 0.4s, like we've seen a lot with a lot of the drivers, but not a 0.3. But Gabriel Quintino, last season he had his struggles. This season he's showing his true intentions. And now it's sitting on provisional pole. I believe we've got a car that's going slow, and that is Aljat, who's going slow. I believe we have a Haas coming up to the line.
Yeah, it's Dea.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's going to put in there.
700.
Well, it's the exact same time as Keanu Liato. That means he's going to be P4. Next one to cross the line, his teammate Dmitri Minich. Let's see where he's actually in the pit lane. Never mind. He's invalidated.
Good time from Deha. Last season, of course, he went a bit missing. This man also had a title charge back in season 15 and in season 14. Both seasons, this man was the man to challenge in qualifying. I just feel like in the last season or two, Deha's maybe lost that confidence with qualifying because season before last and the season before that, 2-3 seasons ago, this man would be the one that you'd be looking at for pole positions and stuff. But now, he's looking like he's struggling a bit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you say that because last season we saw him losing so many potential podiums and even victories because of bad luck or penalties. That if he hadn't had those things, I personally think he would have had a good chance of fighting for the title. But this time, he's on the second row, very close to pole position. There's still a final run to come potentially for everybody. I can't see how much time is left, but I think everybody can get
Yeah.
out in time for another one.
Yeah, and by the way, Ivan Santamir just popped himself up into P7.
A lot better.
Yeah,
What we
by the way,
expected
that
from
is
him.
what 4/10 gets you from P. That got him from P18 up to P7. So that is what sort of 3/4 are getting you at the moment. The fact that
Yep.
the pole before set by Tamas Kokani is only about half a tenth quicker than P7. This shows how close it is between P2 and P7. There's only half a tenth in it.
Can I also draw your attention to the man in last position because apparently that's his favorite place once again? Danico, this time in the
mean.
Alpine, still without a lap time,
that's
sitting
so
happily
mean.
in P20.
That's so mean. You say it's his favorite position. That's. I do agree with you slightly.
I mean, it's not meant to be brute, but it's just so it's interesting to see
But
how
it's
many
true.
times have we seen him at the bottom of the grid without a lap time.
When haven't we seen him at the bottom? That's the main question. But no, so yeah, he's definitely got to turn something around. Danico I don't think he's ever been known for great qualifying performances.
Well,
but he's been known to have good races.
The penultimate race of the season, he actually put in a really decent qualifying, so he's definitely got it in him. But I just feel like he just enjoys the last two whatever challenge.
He only got P12 in that race.
Well, it's still better than P20.
Yeah. But next driver to actually cross the line, and if I'm looking at this correctly, it's Stefano Amazio. This man, towards the end of last season, in that Red Bull, of course, he's in the Ferrari now, was looking quite dangerous. He got a podium or two. He was a late challenger.
Moment.
Yeah. He was a late challenger to podiums and at one point even a victory. But here, we've seen a couple of drivers turn it around, but he's had 2 runs and this will be his last. And he's got to improve a lot because he's down in P18. And I don't think anybody wants to be sitting on the second to last row of the grid. He's going to be thinking what he could have done better. We're going to ride on board with the Ferrari man heading down towards turn 4. This is something that maybe Stefano Amazio needs to find some time. I know last year Bahrain was not, looking at his race results, wasn't a great race for him anyway. He's only finding a 10th and a half in sector 1. Oh, the Red Bull getting very, very close. I believe that might have been Amos Lorito. Yes, it was. It was Amos Lorito. Just wanted to check who it was. And he's going to have a lot of trouble.
My goodness me, this is...
That was...
Wow. That Alpine is definitely not happy. Whoever that, it's... no, it was not Danico. He's retired in the pit box.
It was his teammate,
that was Mizzi.
Hang on, wait.
Stefano's abandoned his lap.
Haven't we had didn't we have a Mizzi last season?
We did, yes.
I'm thinking, sorry. It's a bit of insider knowledge, just thinking. So the next driver to cross the line and start a lap is Alessandro Finn. Now that's always the main problem, is going too early. We're going to see a lot of illegal blocking penalties coming up very shortly.
Yeah, it's chaos right now in terms of traffic at the moment.
So here comes Alessandro Finn in the British racing green, by the correct name, of the Aston Martin. A little bit of lock up into turn 1, not what you wanted to see from Alessandro Finn. Alessandro Finn, another driver who came through midway through last season, and really, he showed us qualifying performances last season. He really did. He struggled a bit in the races, but always showed that he was there fighting for a possible pole position in the races. Here, P13 and 400ths down in his first sector, not what you want to be seeing at the moment. I know that there's still a lot of the lap to go, but 400ths down, remember, he's not only going to find 400ths more, but he's also going to find more improvements. So that might be the difficult part for Alessandro Finn. So now coming down onto the straight, let's see what he can do. See DRS open, riding on board with him. Let's ride on board with him towards the end of sector 2. It's an interesting 2 corners. Left-hander followed by a bit of a weird kink, and then the fastest corner on the track, the right-hander. Very interesting, into a tight right-hander, which is almost like a miniature version of the last corner. And so far, he's looking pretty decent. About a 10th or 2 up. Not what he wants to be seeing, but he definitely wants to be seeing more. As qualifying is now over, everybody was able to cross the line just in time. There's a Haas that's gone off track. Not sure who that is, but we'll look at that in a minute. But we'll see as the drivers come round. And Alessandro Finn finds 2/10 up to P7. And we've got to quickly look over to Luca Wolstow. He's going to be coming up to line, improving by a 1/10.5. Luca Wolstow goes fastest of all, but we got to wait. We got to wait to see everybody else. Wilson Hall, his teammate, coming up to the line. He's improving a bit. He's up to P11. So many drivers. Al-Jack crosses the line. He doesn't improve. I believe it's Ryan Grob. Ryan Grob goes P3. It's not enough for him here tonight. I believe we're going to be moving over to a Ferrari. I believe that is Stefano Ramazio. Yes, it is. He's going to come up to the line. He's going to go P10. We're looking at the other Ferrari of Candy King. He goes P10 now, placing his teammate. Tomas Kokkani up to the line. He doesn't improve enough to even beat his teammate. So he's P4 at the moment. We're going to be looking to someone else. I don't know who.
Gabriel Quintino, currently at the end of the second sector. He's nearly 2/10 up on his previous time. He might absolutely destroy the potential pole lap from Luca Wolstow. He only needs to negotiate this straight and then one more corner, which he can mess up. Other than that, it looks like pole position might fall his way, but we'll have to see. Can he invalidate here? No, he doesn't. He's pretty much on the edge. And then we'll have to see where he is across the line. It is good enough for pole position. Gabriel Quintino, a 1 minute 27.250, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you the pole sitter for the first round of season 17. Gabriel Quintino, well done to you. Luca Wolstow with a 27.3. Couldn't get close enough there, but he'll be starting alongside him on the front row.
Yeah, that was very good. Also, by the way, I just panned over to it quickly. Ivan Santamaria, P5, out of nowhere. Good performance for Ivan Santamaria.
Definitely.
Definitely something there. I think we will be having a lobby restart though. So that is definitely
we will 100% have a lobby restart, but like 20 grid penalties or something like that.
Yeah,
Luca Wolstow 1, Ryan 2, there we are.
Let's have a little rundown of the grid order just before we get into the race. There will be a lobby restart, by the way, so there will be a little bit of a wait, but that's okay. So, Gabriel Quintino takes pole position here for round 1 of season 17 here in WR PC tier 3 with a 1 minute 27.250. Very nice number. Luca Wolstow 2nd, Ryan Grob 3rd, Tomas Kokkani 4th, Ivan Zantamir 5th, Keanu Latour 6th, Dehar 7th, Pulkis 8th, Alessandro Finn 9th, Candy King 10th, Stefano Ramazio 11th, Aljak 12th, Balin Alikis 13th, Wilson Hall 14th, Quentin Dupree 15th, Amos Cerrito in 16th, Mizzy 17th, Yuma in 18th, Dimitri Minik in 19th, and Danny Coe in last and final place. No, not been a nice one for that man, has it?
No, I'm not. I can't remember him coming out of the pit box at all. He just retired in there as well, so I'm not sure what's going on with Danny. Maybe he's just being plagued with issues or something like that, or he just wants to try to see where he finishes from last place. We'll find out one way or another. All we need to do now is wait for a proper lobby restart. We can already see people leaving this lobby, so we'll definitely have to move to the new one as well.
I do apologise for this on the screen. My software's gone all funny and it's giving me some weird stuff. I do apologise for me stretching my OBS across your guys' screens. I do apologise. Just give me a slight minute to fix this. Just a very slight minute. Yeah, very sorry about that. That was not intended. Did not expect to see that happening here.
Watching it now, it does create some fascinating effects.
Yeah, I did it. I panned back out, and I just saw it just massive. But I don't believe anything was affected from the stream. If I have, just looking at it, nothing was affected from the stream. So yeah, so that's okay. I do apologise for that once again. So yeah, we got a new lobby being set up here. What do you think? How do you think qualifying was?
Well, I can definitely say it's been surprisingly close, especially at the beginning when some drivers maybe had to shake off some of their rust, as I said before. And then by the end, those who could really find the time did find it. So Gabriel Quintino, Luca Wolstow looking exceptionally quick. But it's the race where it counts. It's the race where the points are going to be handed out. So we'll have to see how that one is going to end. Who's going to hold it all the way until the finish line, their best possible position. I'm curious to see who's going to come out on top.
I also want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. We got 39 people watching. Absolutely amazing. Pretty crazy numbers. It's very nice to see here tonight. We love to see it for round one. Of course, please do support WOR if you're feeling like it. Subscribe, leave a like just to show some appreciation for us, and also click on the notification bell. So let's move our eyes over to the calendar once again, because we can have a little bit of a longer talk about this. And it is the season 17 calendar. We're here in Bahrain. Of course, we love Bahrain. Sadly, I don't have a track map for this race, which is really sad. But luckily, I do have this lovely calendar to show you. And we've seen the track already, so we don't really need it. Bahrain, of course, was here today. And then on March 4th is Saudi Arabia, followed by Imola on March 11th. And then March on the 18th, round 4, Azerbaijan. And then Canada. Then Italy. We go to Monza, the place of speed, temple of speed, of course, on April 8th. And then for round 7, it's China, followed by Austria. And then Miami on April 29th. And sadly, on the May 6th, it's going to be the last race in Brazil. A bit sad to be seeing that. Really, it's a little sad, you know, to know that the season will finish at some point. So we know that it's going to be something interesting.
It's going to be bittersweet, I'd say. I mean, on the one hand, it's always sad to say goodbye to a game. On the other hand, this game has been riddled with plenty of issues, as had been many of the previous incarnations. So fingers crossed once again that for the next game, things will be slightly better.
Well, just a quick question. Are you in the lobby or not? I can possibly...
I am currently... I just entered the lobby, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to join off of you because that's what I do. But essentially, yeah, so hopefully this season... You know, last season we saw some great numbers. We saw drivers enjoying... well, mostly enjoying themselves, shall we say. We won't say fully enjoying themselves. Some complaints here and there. But everything has been pretty good so far this season, if I'm being honest. Well, we are going to get going very shortly. Within the next, seems to be within the next 3 to 4 minutes we're actually going to be getting going. So, as everybody's been really quick, it looks like we're actually getting going now. Maybe now. Maybe... We'll actually be going pretty shortly because I believe the lobby host is already sorting the grid. So that's very good to have that he's already sorting.
There's also some news. Our pole sitter, his internet just went down. I can see that in the Discord. So that's bad news.
That's halfway to my internet. So a happy middle. No, so we're going to see. So that does mean if he can't make it, that does mean everybody does get moved up a position, by the way. It's just the game. You can't start. You can't miss the driver on pole like they did, for instance, back in 2021 in Monaco. You can't have that, sadly, on this game. Which, of course, you know, it's a little sad. It'd be a nice feature to have, but it isn't as such feature that is available. Now, I want to turn our attention to the placements. Let's just go through them a little bit of, you know, how we feel they could do this season, because we've got some time to kill. We got a nice little break here. Gabriel Quintino, great start. This man's, you know, on pole. Hopefully his internet will come back alive. But I mean, on pole, pretty good start, I have to say.
Yeah, it's he's looking very strong. His teammate normally should be Zach Miles, and we also know that he's strong. So. We said earlier about which team was I talking about earlier that potentially has a strong lineup. That was Williams, who could potentially be strong with Baylind and Elliott. Then, of course, Mercedes, I'd say a potentially strong lineup as well. Red Bull with Keanu and Amos could be a very good one too. And I've also just saw that Stefano Ramazio and Candy King are teaming up once again, this time in the red car instead of the blue car in the Ferrari.
Who
Teammates
would you say
once
needs
again.
to have an important season here? because I know there's a couple of drivers. I know, for instance, Zach Miles needs a good season because he came off really strong last season. I think he finished
Yes.
5th or 4th in the championship. He really finished well.
Yes.
And so that's going to be something, you know, he needs to come away this season with something very good. Keanu
I'd
Latour
say,
needs to also
yeah.
have a good season. Balin
Same.
Alikis, I think there's a bit of anticipation that he can drive this championship because he started off really well last season.
Yeah, and they had a really good somewhere middle to late stint as well, but just it was a bit too much, a bit too many downs compared to the ups they had.
A bit too much
this
too late,
season.
really.
Yeah, too little, too late.
Amos
Something like
Cerrito,
that.
Maybe I would say Amos Cerrito. Maybe this season, maybe let's see if he can be a little bit more consistent because last season he
Yeah, it was a bit of a
with that.
struggle. Yeah, definitely.
Stefano Amazio, I don't think really a few of these drivers I can't really complain about. Stefano Amazio, Quentin Dupree, Alessandro Finn, really those three, also Deha, all 4 of them pretty consistent in races. Deha just needs a little bit more, maybe a bit more confidence. We saw a bit of a lack in confidence last season because he also
A bit
didn't
more
race
luck
much.
too.
Yeah, but I would say like we got sort of those 4 drivers who really we can't really say much about because they were just consistent. They were consistent. They were good.
We should also not forget the McLaren duo this season with Ryan Grob and Tomasz Kokeny.
Ryan Grob, the man who has stolen
look
a
strong.
win before. He's taken a win, I believe, if I remember correctly. I commentated over it. But I know he's got a few podiums. I know he's a fast driver. He's shown it here. How did you feel like about also Tomasz Kokeny, another driver who's been in Tier 3 that missed last season? Well, of course, Ryan Grob was in Tier 3 last season, but his wheel broke. How do you feel about Tomasz Kokeny? Because he started qualifying well, and then it just...
But he still finished quite somewhat up there. So
it fell apart slightly compared to where he started. It kind of, it
true,
fell apart.
fair enough. Yeah, he didn't improve by enough. But it could simply be due to a tiny mistake. And I mean, the difference to pole position isn't that big. And if he works together well with his teammate, they're both, as far as I can see, from the same league at the very least. They're teammates. Yeah, I wouldn't see why he can't climb a few places today and potentially end up on the podium. Either of them.
Of course, we also saw last season Dmitry Minik. I believe we saw him once last season. If I'm correct.
He was champion of season Tier 5. I just saw.
Yeah. Dmitry Minik.
So he's jumped up a lot.
Dmitry Minik was actually in Tier 3 before. I believe it was season 15 he was in. So he's been in Tier 3 before. Drax, of course, also makes his return. The infamous Drax. That man would go on soft strategies every race. Danny Coe, of course, a name that we won't mention too much. Danny Coe makes me laugh every time I see him. Not in like a bad way.
He does have pace. I just want to know why he keeps starting from the back.
He has race pace, not quality.
Yes, and he's good at staying out of trouble.
Yeah. Candy King.
And that's also very important.
Candy King, we got to give it to him. He's pretty, he's pretty quick as well.
He's also really strategic. I will never ever forget the Silverstone race from last season where
I watched that.
was the only one to start in the Inters and then led the race by 13 seconds for like more than half the race.
Another driver we've got to talk about is Wilson Hall.
Wilson Hall.
Yeah, he's already got a few accolades to his name in other leagues and also in WR a bit, especially on the console side. I believe he's console Tier 2. So, he's already got that accolade that he's already up there. He's got a few wins here and there. And so he's definitely got a few trophies. He's I think he has won a title or 2 in WR as well. So, he's got a few more trophies than I have. It's just painful. But no, he's got a few more trophies than I have, and yeah, generally he's a good driver. All round, I've seen him race before. I believe I raced against him as well. I was absolutely destroyed. But he is a really good driver, very strong. Also, we got to talk about the reserves a little bit because we haven't spoken about them. A couple of drivers, of course, who were in the reserves. Guti Balint. We don't know if they're brothers still, do we? We still don't know if they're
We still
brothers.
haven't figured it out.
No.
Should have asked.
So Guti Berlin's Hugo Fontbon, who was in Tier 3 the first season I commentated, which was season 14. And so he was here a long time ago. Dustin Vincent, that man, also returns this season, but only as reserve. Linus Donovan also returns to the tier, along with Jeremy Gallanier. That man caused some controversy in whatever race he was in. He could
Why? He was. I can't remember him being in Monaco last season. He did really well.
No, yeah, he wasn't in Monaco. But
he was strong.
He was in I think 3 or 4 races. He was good. He was quite good. Yeah, so a couple of drivers that we're seeing return. Very nice to see. A couple of new drivers this season, of course. Luke Woolstow, that we see joining. Yuma as well, new driver to the tier. Like we've also said, Wilson Hall as well. We've got a couple of drivers. We also got Pulkis, Alberto Barros, Riley McKay, Jane. I'm not going to say that last name. I can't say it for the life of me. Gregory as well. Same thing there. And Roland Alfredson as well. So quite a few reserves that we haven't seen before. A few drivers. We've got 3 drivers out on the grid that we haven't seen before, which always spices things up a bit, especially when we've got reserves that we haven't heard of. Because when they come into the races, you know what I mean. When they come into a race, and when they're reserving in for full-time driving, it's always difficult.
And then they just enter with a bang, and they're like,
of course, we've had a few of those before. One of those drivers was Jerry Van Bussel.
So we've seen that the previous season with several drivers, Alessandro Finn being one of them. So I'm unsurprised he's got a full-time seat.
We also saw it in season 14, by the way, with Jerry Van Bussel. That man is very fast. I think he's in tier 1 of a.
I've got bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Gabriel Contino is not going to race, and that.
And that
deserves a minute of silence.
Yeah, that actually means
very unfortunate.
There's a small change to the champ. That actually means there's a small change to the grid, because who finished second? I'm trying to remember who finished second. This is bad. I don't even remember who finished second.
It was Luca Wolstow.
Oh, yeah, was it? Yeah.
He'll be starting on pole position. So yeah.
We'll be starting on pole position with Ryan Grob on the front row. McLaren 2-3 at the moment.
There you go.
Looking happy for the McLarens. Disappointing for Gabriel Quintino, because last season
very disappointing. Yeah.
But that was very unlucky there for Gabriel Quintino, because I wanted to see him race. Anything
about that really sucks.
Yeah, because especially when it's the first race as well, and you get pole position. That's like
Precisely.
Every driver's nightmare. Especially when you get there. When you're on pole and it's the first race and you're looking good, but sadly, some things don't work. Some things do go wrong, and he does have another 9 races to prove himself. And I'm sure he will.
Plenty of time.
Himself. If he goes
definitely.
how he's been in round 1, he's definitely gonna be the man to beat this season. But definitely, I mean, Ryan Grob, he might not be on starting on pole, but he's definitely looking a good place, because I've seen Ryan Grob's race pace, and his racecraft is really good. I will give him that. He's got amazing racecraft. By far, he's got brilliant racecraft. To be fair,
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, definitely. He likes to get started early. Hopefully, everybody is good on the stream. You could just have a little check for me.
Currently, the drivers are picking their setups as we speak. Of course, trying to figure out a good strategy.
Mr. Frostbreath, could you have a little double check on the stream, make sure it's all working okay?
I'll have to do that really quickly.
I don't want any problems. If there's a problem straight away and we don't see it, that's going to be terrible. My career's gone.
It looks fine at the moment.
Okay. Hopefully it will stay fine. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got an interesting duo at Red Bull, because I'm just seeing it in the pit boxes. Amos Lorito and Keanu Latour. These two were teammates last season, but here we go. It's
Precisely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And away we go here in PC Tier 3 for WOR And it is a good getaway here in Season 17 for Luca Wolstow. He gets away very well. Actually, he's got it away very, very well. It's almost 3 wide into turn 1. Tamas Kokeny trying to make his way around his teammate. He does get past Ryan Grob. Luca Wolstow is now waltzing off into the distance as he moves further ahead. Ivan Santamaria also making up a position. Look at all this battling in the background. You can see Keanu Latour trying to make a move. Ivan Santamaria is going to hold out. Here's P4 there. He's going to try and fight with Ryan Grob, who's really struggling off of this start here. It's not the start he wanted, but look, here comes the House of Derhard trying to make the move. But it's going to be Ivan Santamaria who makes the move on Ryan Grob, side by side, coming down towards the hairpin now. Look at everybody so close to each other. But you can see, a little bit of a push, a little bit of a shove. It's all between all of them coming through the hairpin. We can see a couple of drivers going side by side. Bahrain Alikis and Stefano Ramazio specifically going side by side through the hairpin. They're still going side by side. Not anymore, as now Bahrain Alikis up into P10. See some moves happening in the background. 3 wide through this left-hander. They're keeping it 3 wide. Look at this. What an amazing load of racing for further back in the grid. And there goes Emil Cerrito up into P15. Wilson Hall making the move now. Stefano Ramazio for P11. And there's going to be some battling further back. But you can see a very good start. Also a good start for Dmitry Minik, who's getting away very nicely. He's up into P12 now. And that is a good start from quite a few drivers. But what a start it's been from Luca Wolstow up into the lead. And in the lead by over 6/10.
He's doing quite well. There's 3 drivers who've decided to start on the soft tires. We also see that Danny Coe has to serve a drive-through penalty. Elliott has been punted somewhere halfway the track and retires straight away in the pit lane after he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in it. So already thrown in the towel. And I say on lap 2, that's a little early to do so. Anyway, back to the track, fighting between Polkes and Dmitry Minik. Minik trying to make up more positions. He started pretty far back down the field. He's already made up half the field there already, trying to get past Polkes, but Polkes is not backing out that easily, and now they nearly get into contact with Balin Telekis, who's also started on the soft tires as they head into the next corner. Dmitry going very aggressive on the inside. Can they manage to keep it clean? Yes, they can, but in the same time, they're also creating a big gap to the cars in front. Now, Dmitry Minic has to make up time. Keanu Latour tries to fight back, stays in P10 for the time being, keeps Balin Telekis behind. Elikis gets a bad exit, allowing Polkes to go back through. These guys are very feisty. They're just trying to fight for every inch of the track available for them to make sure they make up as many places as possible before those soft tires start to wear off. Once again there, and this time it's Yumayo trying to get side by side, and ahead he goes in a place where you don't really see that many overtakes. It looks like Balint is starting to struggle big time, and I'm starting to wonder if there's any damage because of a potential contact he's had a few corners ago. Now Stefano Ramazio is getting past as well. Despite them being on the soft tires, he is starting to struggle big time.
Yeah. Definitely, that's something you can see. He's dropping down positions. He might have damage. He
yep,
does
have
damage. By the way,
he's in, going in.
We'll see what happens. We don't want to see a double Williams DNF. You said that was going to be a powerful lineup. So far, it's looking.
I jinxed it already.
Like a bit of a struggle. That's your fault. You've done it. That's going to be
knocking on your door tomorrow morning.
He's going to be so unhappy. But no, that's disappointing for the previous champion in season 15 to already retire in the pits. That is very disappointing to see. And not a good start to championship campaign for Mr. Balin Alikis. Both Williams having a bit of a realistic sort of start, just like 2019. Ivan Santamaria, though, over a second behind P3. The gaps are starting to build, actually. Quite a few second gaps already. You can see that it's just these two sort of hanging on. Ivan Santamaria kind of jumping in and out of the 1 second mark. We're going to go on board with Derhard for a moment. Let's have a look at the position changes so far. Decent start for Derhard. Good start for Ivan Santamaria and Luca Wolstow, both staying in their positions. The only two on the grid who stayed in their positions. But what a good start for Wilson Hall and Dmitry Minik, up 6 and 9 places respectively. Especially for Dmitry Minik. This man is on a mission. But he is on the soft tires.
Better be, because exactly. They both started on the soft tires, so they've got no choice other than to be on a mission and make up as many places as possible during those few laps that those soft tires work well. and then they'll start to struggle. In the meantime, Dea Demechoglu on the roll as well. We also see a change in the lead for Tamas Kokani going up into P1. It looked like, from my point of view, that they weren't really fighting it that hard. I think these three are trying to create a gap to the two cars behind of Dea and Ivan Santamaria. It looks like they're also working together to keep up with the top three. So an interesting battle going on, and at the same time some cooperation from rivaling cars and drivers.
This is the strategy that you have at such a high level of racing in this tier. Let's just have a look at all the types. It's either hards or it's soft compounds. That's all that everybody's gone for. Only 3 drivers on the softs as well, so not many. As you can see, Keanu Latour gets a 3-second time penalty. He's down in P13 though, so we're seeing a lot of our sort of championship contenders last season that we saw as championship contenders and fought for sort of top 8 in the championship, really struggling. I don't think we have a single driver from our top 8 in the driver standings which are inside of the top 6. Where did Alessandro Finn actually finish? I think he finished.
Well, he was a reserve last season, so I'm not entirely sure from the top of my head.
So, yeah. So I think I don't think we have even got one of our top 8 in the top 11. So that is
Dea Demechoglu, actually.
Actually, oh yeah. Okay.
He's the only one from
that's pretty shocking
list.
Compared to the amount of drivers we have from last season and how many of them were actually where they were. It's pretty shocking. So definitely a bit of a change, but we're going to see Luke Woolstow go for the move around the outside. Not much fighting from Tamas Kokani. You can see Ryan Grob going deep. That man
really
almost
wide.
killed his teammate.
Yeah.
Very, very close. Is Ryan Grob playing the waiting game, or is he just making a few mistakes here and there and it's costing him?
I'm not sure if he's playing the waiting game. He's got only 1/3 of his battery left.
I've just seen that. I do agree with you there. Maybe I was looking from offboard and I was thinking maybe is he waiting?
They are now within a second of the cars ahead. So we have got now 5 cars fighting for the lead. Then the next group of cars is being led by Wilson Hall on the soft tires, which are now almost 5 laps old. In between those soft tire users is Alessandro Finn, trying to keep up nice and easily. And I'm not sure how long those soft tire users are going to stay out. If they can manage to stay within DRS, they might last a little bit longer than you would averagely expect from those soft tires. Alessandro Finn having a little bit of a look at the rear view mirrors of Wilson Hart, trying to see if his car is still doing okay in those rear view mirrors. And it is. They're all still in one piece. Car number 3 now turning right. Let's see how they will be doing soon when the fighting starts to heat up. He's using a bit of ERS here on the back straight when they start to head to the main straight where DRS will be available once again. You can see Alessandro Finn getting a little bit impatient. Potentially, those soft tires are slowly giving up already. He's going a bit wide, almost too wide, I'd say, but I'm certain he's going to make the move right here. Wilson Hall's got no DRS whatsoever, and Alessandro Finn just cruises past like he isn't even there. Up he goes into turn 1, into P6 he goes. Let's see if he can close the gap to the top 5.
Maybe not. Couple of moves happening further back.
Oh,
look at this!
There's some bumping happening as well.
Side-by-side racing. We've got a lot going on. Mizzy trying to fight for survival here, stuck in the middle of this group, and we're going to see Keanu Latour, maybe both Rebels try and make a move into turn 4. No, it's just going to be Keanu Latour. He's going up on the inside. It's a bit of a slow move. Is he going to push him out? Yes, he has, and that is P13 for Keanu Latour, and that's a good position for him. As you can see, Emil Cerrito struggling, maybe made a bit of a mistake through the right and left-hander. Currently, now only down in P15, and about to get overtaken for P16, which is essentially, I don't want to be mean here, but essentially last in this race, especially for where everybody is.
Yeah.
It's not been a good start from some of our guys who were pushing really hard and did really well last season. Balin, Alikis, Quinton Dupuis, Amos Cerrito, Keanu Latour, Stefano Amazio in that list as well. Candy King, he's just doing he's doing a bit of a different strategy compared to usual. You
fell away a little bit there, so I'm not sure if the streamers heard you because you fell away for a few seconds, so that's why I took over a little bit there.
That's
but you're back.
That's painful. Of course, it cuts out. It might have cut out. Who knows? Say in chat whether it cut out or it was just you. If I did cut out, yeah.
Might have been Discord.
Probably was Discord.
Let's just blame Discord.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
not
a
mine,
question in chat. Where is Gabriel? Unfortunately, his internet has decided to stop working when the lobby was restarted, so he
Almost
was not
like
able to
mine.
race. Yeah, almost like yours indeed. But the internet has definitely decided to throw in the towel, so that's why we're having only 19 drivers right here, and it's a big shame, especially as Gabriel Quintino was about to start from pole position.
By
So
the way, Luca
commiserations.
he's looking he's a bit all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, but he's also got a nearly full road by his own car and the
You
curbs
cut out.
alike. And that might have been a warning there that he didn't really need, as he's trying to stay with the race leader and as well keeping his teammate and several other drivers on a charge behind.
Yeah. By the way, you cut out as well. So it's not just
Okay,
me.
so Discord is just having a bit of a mess up then.
Discord's being Discord.
Yes.
And I do apologise for any cutting out or anything, either whether it's between us or on stream. I will definitely be looking back at the stream, seeing if it did cut out for both of us or not. But yeah, so far everything seems to be looking okay. Just tell me in the live chat whether everything is okay, whether it is just Discord or we are actually cutting out or not. So looking at this, Luca also almost full on battery, like you said, looking pretty good. That's when it cut out. I knew you were going to say about the ERS. So looking back. Big gaps now between
Ryan can't seem to charge his battery up more than 35% at the moment. He keeps pushing to try and stay with them. I also can't help but feel like several cars are very drift happy tonight. I can see quite a few of them drifting through turn 10, etc.
Especially for Tomas Kokkinen. He's doing a lot of that tonight. I think he's probably one of the worst out there for this tonight. You can the one time we say about it, he doesn't. Nothing goes wrong for him.
It went all well for him.
He doesn't, no drifting. But definitely Tomas Kokkinen sliding all over the road, but weirdly, and not in a bad way. Kind of how the game is, that drifting is better.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? For some tracks, especially when tire wear doesn't play a big factor, that drifting sometimes appears to be a little bit quicker. Not really a good thing, I'd say, if I'm honest. Look a little bit, by the way, at Yomayo's battery. It's pretty much flat, and he's got Polkis right behind him. He's unable to stay with the group ahead, so he might be struggling for the points very soon with the Mercedes charging up from behind him. Let's see if there's any close fights on track right now. No, there isn't, so we can stay with this one, as Polkis is definitely going to make a move on his fellow Finnish countryman. There he goes, up into P10 at the same moment. Candy King and Dmitry Minik fighting for position. Candy King almost breezing past the Haas there. It's definitely a fact that the soft tires are dropping off at this moment.
Definitely. At the moment, one driver we've got to have a little look at is a man who's snuck kind of past our radar slightly, and that is actually Ivan Sansmaria. We haven't spoken about him in this race. He's almost a second behind P4, but he's kind of come from nowhere slightly here.
He started a bit rusty in qualifying, and then he jumped up to P4.
He might be down one place, but at the moment, he's not looking too bad. The fact that he is P5, especially for where how he was looking qualifying, definitely not too bad. I have to say that gap between Ivan Sansmaria and Alessandro Finn has come down by about 0.3, so definitely maybe Aston Martin is closing in a little bit. But is it just me, or does the grid feel very spaced out in a way? Big time differences, because it does feel like that.
Yeah, there's the top 5 who are all on somewhat equal-ish pace. Then there's a group of 2 with Alessandro and Wilson. Wilson on the softs, though, will start to drop back quite soon. Although he might place an attack right here. So before we go to the other groups, let's see what Wilson is going to do. Is he going to just tow along? Or is he going to go on the offensive? Well, he's got no choice, actually, but to go on the offensive because he was that close. So up he goes. Another position. Can his tires manage to go with him through the corner? Yes, he does. Same goes for Dmitry Minik. So both soft tire users are going to try and go on the offensive once again. And they successfully do so. Those groups we were talking about. Let's go a little bit further back with Dmitry Minik leading another group of four cars all the way down to P11. They have their own race with one another. Then there is Stefano Ramazio on his own a little bit. Then a group of 3 cars with Quinten Dupuis, Keanu Lito, and Mizi. And Amos Larito keeps falling back this race. He's not a happy man, I'd say, in Bahrain.
Definitely not. Did Wilson...
You still... Yeah, there you are.
Don't say it cut out.
I don't know. There are some strange silences here and then.
Maybe not. Wilson Hall. Is it just me or did he get past Alessandro Finn?
Yes, he did. As I said, the soft tires are on a roll at the moment, despite their old age.
I just realised that.
Both of them.
I was kind of like, I was watching everything else and I didn't remember to look at the screen. I was just watching the timings and everything. I was just looking at where I was looking. But now, Tomas Kokkani chasing down. Luca Wallstow now, by the way, hasn't lost the lead since lap 5. So that AlphaTauri is putting up a... That AlphaTauri must be quick on the straights.
Yeah, either that or...
Yeah, you've...
Upstream, so he definitely isn't planning...
I believe you completely cut out.
Oh, well, the Discord, please stop messing up. I was trying to say that Kokkani is just taking it easy. He's not using battery. He's staying out of slipstream. He might as well not use DRS even, because he's just taking it slow, waiting for the right moment to strike. Especially with the pit stops coming up in a lap or 5, I'd say, when they probably switched to the mediums. We saw some fighting happening a bit further back between Mizi, I believe, and Quinten Dupuis, Keanu Lito, all fighting for a non-points paying position. But still, a fight is a fight, and we never minded if there's good fights going on track, wherever it is. Lap 11 right now. And the pit stops are going to come in soon, especially for those on the softs. Wilson Hall and Dmitry Minik. Balint Likis has switched to the soft tires as well after his unfortunate pit stop at the start of this race. Let's see what strategy they will be taking on.
Definitely, that's going to be something that... Maybe this is something other drivers have to be thinking about at this moment, is when will these guys on the softs pit? And what are they going to pit to? Are they going to go mediums or hards?
It depends until if they can keep up with the hard tire users. They could as well switch to the mediums. It's not impossible, but there is a risk, because I've seen people going for medium soft or soft medium, and then they got a puncture by the end of the race. So there's a bit of risk involved, especially now that the cars are still a bit more heavy than they are in the second half of the race. So let's see how good they can nurse those tires, and if they're capable to do so. They might just try and go for the mediums, and that means their strategy would have worked out perfectly, because I think that's what they want, from softs to mediums.
Definitely. I definitely agree. I'm just looking at the moment. I'm just looking up and down in the order at the moment, and one driver that has caught my eye slightly, that's been creeping up the order, is Yuma.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Let's have a little look at his position changes, actually. It's 6 places up, so from 17th all the way up to P11. Not too bad, especially since he started on the hard tires, so no big tire advantage for him there. So yeah, let's keep an eye on him. Let's see where he will be finishing. Lap. I keep saying round 13. I should say lap. So lap 13 starting right now. The soft tire users are still going round alongside the hard tire users. The top 5 is remaining quite stable. They just keep holding on to their position. Dea had a little bit of a look at Ryan Grob. He nearly went for a move, just a bit too far back, I'd say, to really go for it. And there goes Dmitry Minic, once again fighting, and this time fighting properly with Alessandro Finn. 4P7 here round on this track. Alessandro Finn isn't really liking that one, but both soft tire users are now ahead of the Aston Martin, and they now lead the charge to the top 5. I wonder if they can hold it up for that long.
Maybe not. Balin Alikis has decided to retire. Sadly, that is both Williams You cursed them.
I cursed them badly.
Yeah, really badly. They're gonna be knocking on your door tomorrow.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, you better be scared. No, definitely disappointing day for Williams. Disappointing one because especially for like Aljat returned to the tier. He's also a champion of the tier, but also Balin Alikis, who had a strong championship chance last season, missed out on it, made some mistakes, and was kind of hoping to come back. But it's, you know, the start of the season is more looking like how his worst, where he was sort of last season.
Yeah, let's just hope that this is a one-timer for both Williams drivers. As you said, they're both quite quick. They do have the pace to fight at the front, and they were not here tonight due to incidents. And that is really annoying. We see the first round of pit stops happening. It's Wilson Hall leading a whole slew of cars to the pit box. That does include Dmitry Minich. The soft tires have decided to pit, and now I'm curious to see which tires they're going to pick. Is it going to be the mediums as we predicted? It actually, I can't see it. Which tire is this one? It is mediums, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. They have decided to go with the flow. The rest of the field, so their soft tire strategy so far has worked out absolutely brilliantly. There's no other words. Misi also retiring in the pit lane at the moment. And Danny Coe has started to intermingle himself with a little bit of a fight between himself and those who've just pitted. So Danny Coe finds himself in between Dmitry Minik and Alessandro Finn. And Alessandro will definitely not like that one because he's on much fresher tires. He's now got an Alpine in between himself and the car ahead with older hard tires. That might be a struggle to get past, especially if Danny is going to have DRS on the straights.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, looking at this, just looking at this, Danny Coe, this man is, you know, he's got his car sitting there between Alessandro Finn and Dmitry Minik, and he's like a sort of 700, he's like an 800 kg inanimate object, and he's going to get
actually,
overtaken
he's
really
decided
quickly.
to look at this. He's moved out of the way completely. He's just let both of them pass. He knows this is not his race. Of course, he had that drive-through, so yeah, we'll have to pit again because those hard tires won't last all the way.
Definitely. And there's a change for the lead, actually. For the first time in like 10 laps, we've had a change for the lead. Tomas Kokony takes the lead of the race finally, 10 laps after the last. It's nice to see something change.
Yeah, might be a strategic change for position, but it does look like he's used a bit of battery. He's down to 78%-ish at the moment, drifting once again through those corners. His car is very light on downforce, potentially, which might explain he's been holding back on the straight so much. Oh, and another attack there. Deja Demachoglu on the other McLaren, going for the move up into the podium places. But Ryan Gropp has decided not to back out just yet. They go nearly side by side in turn 10. Oh, now they come together. Demachoglu getting a less than tough tap than expected, actually. I thought he was going around there, but he hasn't. Ryan Gropp, though, has been demoted to 4th place for the time being. Ivan Santamaria is starting to struggle to keep up. He's just outside of that 1 second range and trying to stay with the top 4. This has also cost Demachoglu and Gropp a little bit of time. They're still within the 1 second limit, though, although it's just barely. Let's see if Luca Wolstow is going to try and keep them out of DRS. Looks like he isn't trying that hard. In fact, there, Demachoglu is gaining. He's using a bit of battery there to make sure he stays with them as the first 2 cars are going into the pit lane. And the other 2 cars, Deja and Ryan, have decided to stay out. Otherwise, it would have been a double stack, of course, for McLaren. And there we go. Let's see if Ryan Gropp is going to go for a move for the lead of this race. He's having a little bit of a look, but Deja has kept the door shut, and I don't think Ryan was really trying that hard. Ivan Santamaria is starting to fall back rapidly now. 1.8 seconds. It might have been that he's completely eaten his tires to keep up with the top 5. A bit further back, Polkis, Umayo still fighting with each other. Candy King has reported to them as well. And now Stefano Ramazio on fresh mediums has set the fastest lap of this race.
Very quite interesting, but I have to say now, this is going to be an important moment, is how much will Wilson Hall catch? Because we were looking at him, he was what, about 7-8 seconds behind? Now, he's sitting about 2 seconds behind the front 2. So the undercut is actually really powerful.
Yeah, and that might spell some trouble for those who are still out on the old hard tires. They will have quite the big gap to catch up when they box. So they can either let that happen or maybe just extend their stint a bit more and go to the softs, because they now have seen that the soft tires can work for 14 laps if you're well within DRS range. And there's still plenty of groups to connect to stay within a DRS range. So I wouldn't be surprised if they push it all the way until lap 18-ish and then go for the softs. We'll find out now, though. It's Dea going in. Ryan Gropp is following, so I'd say they'll be switching to the mediums here, but you never really know. These drivers can surprise you. Ivan Santamaria has decided to continue despite his struggles on his 16-lap old hards. So let's see what they're changing to right here. Dea is switching to the mediums. Yep, they are going for the yellow tires, as does Ryan. They come out behind one another once again.
And let's see who's going to come out where. See, Amos Lorito is going to come out in front, but who else is going to come out? Oh, it looks like it's an absolute undercut from the next two, because Deha's teammate, Dmitry Minik, is now in front of Deha, and so is Wilson Hall.
Interesting.
This is really going to be hurting Deha, and it's going to be hurting Ryan Grobb more, because he's down in 13th.
Ouch. Yeah, that's probably not what he really wanted. And he immediately decides to go on the offensive. He is not enjoying this at all. He wants to get away from Stefano Ramazio as soon as he can. He is still side by side as they go to the corner. There's a bit of contact there, but thankfully no damage. Stefano Ramazio closes the door on the inside, meaning Ryan Grobb has to back off. He gets a bit of a better launch into the corner and, well, not really out of the corner, to be fair. As they head into turn 10, Ryan Grobb is definitely on the hurry. His tires are only 3 laps fresher, and he knows with Stefano Ramazio having DRS, passing on the straight is going to be a struggle. They're going to try again. Tamas Kokeny in the meanwhile passes Amos Lorito on his old hard tires, and here goes Ryan Grobb on the inside past Stefano Ramazio. He goes, and there he goes up into 12th place. But the crucial thing is he is just on the verge of losing DRS to the cars ahead. He has to push really hard once again, use a lot of battery once more to stay with the group of potential race winners. So now the race is definitely on for Ryan, at least.
Yeah, it definitely is. Also, look at how Tamas Kokeny is starting to walk out in front. Currently 7/10 in front. Luca Wolstow just set the fastest lap. You can see at the moment, a couple of gaps opening here and there. Lots of changes up and down the grid. And there's going to be a move further back. Wilson Hall. Oh, he's spinning it. The Haas's battling their way 3 wide. And one Haas has to go off, and that was Deha who had to go off. He might be under attack now from an Aston Martin of Alessandro Finn, and yes, he is under the attack. And look at Wilson Hall. He's going very aggressive with his defense, but so does Dmitry Minik. He's also going to go very aggressive with his defense. And look,
this is scary.
It's very, very aggressive coming from Wilson Hall. I have to say, definitely some things might have to be spoken about between a couple of these lot, because they're fighting like mental, and really, that was a lot of defending. And ultimately, all just to lose out still 2 places.
Yep, definitely. They are fighting hard for position. Amos Lorito is happy with this one, of course, because he's sitting there with his old tires, and none of the cars behind are getting closer because they're fighting so hard for position. But, you know, it's racing, and it's what we enjoy watching, and that's probably what they enjoy doing as well. But there was quite a lot of aggression, a bit of a tire tapping here and there. But the cars, most importantly, are still in one piece. But if the fighting continues like this, I wonder for how much longer they're going to be in one piece. As once again, we approach another straight where they will be opening the taps, especially Ryan Grobb. We see the top 2 now pitting, Candy King and Polkis. Going for the soft tires. There we go. They are going for the late gamble there. Let's see how much they'll be able to catch up. Ryan Grobb has made his move on Wilson Hall, or has he? There's another one there making a move just behind. It's Stefano Ramazio and Alessandro Finn, and Alessandro is broke a bit too late. Smashed in the side of Ryan Grobb. That's put them all into trouble. Nearly all 4 of them go all the way off the track, and Stefano Ramazio comes off way worse than everybody else. Finds himself behind Ivan Santamaria, who in his turn can't believe his luck. He's catching up this easily because of all the fights going between all the 6 cars ahead of him. He's now back within DRS range despite the struggles before the pit stops. He's now back within contention, and Alessandro Finn now going wide, trying to attack Ivan Santamaria. He's lost another position, down to 9th place. Ramazio still within DRS range. We'll have to wonder whether there's going to be damage to the side pods or not. But the gloves are off for that final podium place because they're not catching the top 2. And look at this. Demachoglu now fighting his teammate. The Haas well, it seems like Dmitry Minik wasn't really fighting him that hard. They're trying to get away from the cars behind, and it's working because he's got Amos Laurito in between them and the other cars. So this is their moment to strike. It's especially known to Ryan Grob, who tries to get past Amos, but Amos is just not giving up whatsoever, despite his ancient tires, which are nearly fossilized by this point in time. He's about to switch to the soft, that's a certainty, but he's also the moving obstacle of the race at the moment. Is he going to back out at long last? He isn't. He's still staying out. That's probably because Ryan Gropp is on his inside, and he's moving past up into 5th position at last, and now he needs to hurry up 1.6 seconds between himself and now the top 3, or actually the cars in 3rd and 4th, both Haas there. The fights are going to be epic.
It really will, and that's my name. But we see Alessandro Finn pits, little bit moments of a lag. I'm not sure whether that's my internet or it's just the lobby. It might be the lobby because I haven't had this in a while, to be honest. But yeah, so definitely some things going on here and there. We can see Wilson Hall in 6th place at the moment.
Yeah, Alessandro Finn is actually pitted, so he probably had gotten some damage from the aggressive fights. Yeah.
Front wing damage.
Whoa.
Oh, and a mistake from Wilson Hall is going to actually put him in danger of getting overtaken by Ivan Santamaria. Is Ivan Santamaria pushing? No, he's not. But
he was quite awake.
Wilson Hall ultimately just backs out and knows that it's not his time. Because remember, Ivan Santamaria is on, I believe, 3 or 4 lap fresher tyres. Let's actually have a look. He's on 4 lap fresher tyres. And so those mediums are going to be going through starting their graining stage about lap 5 or 6. Compared to the fresher mediums that won't have that for another about 4 laps. So, definitely it's all to play for here. Looking at the lead, though, Luca Wolstow, he keeps on getting close, but it's kind of a reverse now. He can't seem to get past Tamas Kokony for the lead.
Yeah, interestingly, it looks like Tamas is doing defending because he's down to 65% battery, which is still quite a lot, but it's not as much as Luca has because he's still on 80%. And somewhat keeping up nicely. In the meanwhile, Dmitry has not been able to keep up with his teammate, allowing Ryan Grob to attack full size. There he goes, side by side already. Ryan is really going for it this round here in Bahrain. Is he going to go for the move? He has to go around the outside, which is going to be very tricky indeed. But somehow he manages to keep the cars side by side, and looks like Ivan Santarich is peeping and having a little look on where he can strike. Now he goes on the inside, but Dmitry Minik really wants that position back. Bad idea though, because he loses another position. Ivan Santamaria, as I said, just had a little bit of a look and decided to strike when the opportunity was there, and there it was, because Dmitry Minik went too wide. Up he goes in P5, down Dmitry goes in P6. These guys are really fighting hard for their position.
Yeah, they are, and that is something that's going to be important later on. But remember, Ryan Grob is now over 3.5 seconds behind P3, and with only 8 laps remaining of this race, it's definitely going to be a tough one for him to close in.
And speaking of that P3, he's been closing the gap to the top 2 rapidly. Last lap it was 3.5 seconds. Now it's 2.5 seconds as Luca Wolstow regains the lead. They realize that the car behind is closing in very rapidly. So now is the moment to work together, DRS off one another, to keep that lead as big as possible. In the meanwhile, Ivan Santamaria has decided to take another opportunity and go up into 4th place. Can they chase down Deha, the sole man trying to chase down the lead of the race? Is he catching in the corners? Well, it looks like he's through the corners. He's quite a lot quicker than the cars ahead. So let's see if he's able. There's 7 laps remaining after this one. Can he catch the leaders? That's the big question.
Maybe not. I think it's going to be I think he could catch the leaders, but remember, DRS train.
Yep.
That's going to
be a tough move. Look at that. You saw that through the hairpin? Half a second. That's what he gained.
Problem is, Deha's using up his tyres.
He's also using it now because he's on 1%.
Yeah, thing is, I'm thinking that he's just overusing his tyres now. And, this is just going to leave Luca Wolstow and Tamas Kokony with a bit of ease here, because the Polkis gets past Amos Lorito for P9. And,
why hasn't he pitted? Why hasn't Amos pitted yet?
I do not know.
What's his strategy here? Because he's
No clue.
still on the same hard tires he started the race with, and I mean his pace is sunken through the bottom of the floor pretty much. I'm not sure what he's doing, and he's still not going in. Very strange.
He's gonna get a puncture at some point.
Yeah.
And he's
stretching his
also
time.
not using any.
Them.
He's also out of ERS, so I'm not sure what he is up to.
I think he's
for how long he's been on the hards, he's not putting in bad pace. You know, he's putting in pretty decent.
No, that's fair enough. I think he's just throwing in the towel and just testing around a little bit.
Because of course there was an update today to F123.
That's true, yeah.
Which did mention about tyre wear. It did mention tyre wear, I believe, if I am correct.
So he's just sacrificing his race to test for EA.
Maybe.
That's pretty much it then.
Yeah. Definitely.
Very interesting.
Looking to the front, these two, the front two, the top two, the two that have been in the top two all day today. By the way, no one else for more than 3 laps has been in that position of the lead, which is pretty interesting. The only two that have been in the lead for longer than 3 laps is, of course, Luca Woolstone and Tomas Kokkinen. Now, if I remember correctly, Tomas Kokkinen never really had good luck in Tier 3. He always struggled with that, but maybe tonight will be his night that he finally gets a victory under the lights of Bahrain. Looking at this, though, he doesn't look very eager to make a move. It doesn't look like he really wants to make a move. 5 laps of the race to go. I think lap 28, 29 is going to be when we start to see a lot of action kick off. His teammate, though, Mr. Ryan Grob, not having a good day out there. P5, and he's dropped some positions as well, dropped down. He was P2 at the start of the race. So does it feel like he's just not been there?
Also, this just in, Larito has finally pitted. He's finally relented his hard tires to the pit crew and has gone for the soft tires. In the meantime, Demircoglu is not catching as fast anymore. He's still 1.5 seconds behind. He's now struggling. His battery is low. His tires are probably worn out already because of him pushing this hard. And Ivan Santamaria is still 3 seconds behind. Ryan Grob is staying with him, but Ivan's battery is starting to run out. So is Ryan's. Everybody's pushing to their limits, except for the top 2. Also, some drivers who've been staying under the radar, as we spoke about earlier. Polkis on his fresh softs is moving up rapidly. He's been making up several positions already, and he's now rapidly approaching Dmitry Minik to try and take P6 from him. So Polkis is definitely on the move, much faster on the move than Candy King is. He's stuck in a bit of a train right here on the same age tires. 5 laps old softs at the moment. He's now lining up Wilson Hall to get back into the top 10. We got a bad corner entry, a better exit there. So let's see if he's going to make the move. Interestingly, Wilson Hall is going in. Wilson Hall's going in and gives himself a penalty and retirement to go along with it. Why?
That's confusing. He was P9.
There's so many confusing things happening tonight. Elliott retiring at the end of lap 1. Amos Larito staying out on very old hard tires. Now Wilson Hall retiring from 10th. There might be issues then for him. I also see Elliott in the chat saying that his rig was broken. That explains one confusing situation at the very least. But other than that, I'm not sure what's going on with some of the other drivers and their decisions they're making on track tonight.
I have seen a driver or two have been saying about the lobby. I think somebody said in chat that the lobby just felt a bit odd. It's somewhere in there. So maybe there's lobby problems. Maybe there's lobby host problems tonight, which is of course very possible. Slightly worrying for round 1, but yes, a person or two have been 2 people, and they're actually not doing too badly in this race. They set after qualifying. I believe one was Tomas Kokkinen, and I believe the other was Dmitry Minik, who didn't do well in qualifying, but he's done well in the race here. And he said something was off. He said they both said, if I'm reading correctly, they both said at some point, it's a long list of messages, but they both said that something felt odd with the cars.
Interesting. I have to keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah, so definitely there. It could be lobby things. It could be lobby connection. I'm actually experiencing lobby problems myself. Everything seems a little bit laggy, and seems a little bit too opportunistic that it's my internet, because it seems to be a few drivers. It seems to be everything, but I don't know anymore. But essentially, yeah. So I have seen a driver or two also complaining about lagging and lag spikes as well, which I've also been getting. If you watch the stream or have been watching, you will also see that. So maybe a few worrying things going on for a couple of drivers, but Deha still closing in, but closed in by 4/10 in the last 2 laps. He's almost at the second barrier. He wants to break.
He's nearly
that.
there.
But if I'm being honest, what is the chance of him actually getting the win? Low ERS, tyres.
I'd say it depends on how hard Luca and Tomasz will be fighting for that victory. We're still 3 laps away from the finish of this race, and I think the fighting will be coming on at any moment now. If that fighting is going to be fierce, then Deha might still have a shot somewhat, but he's still not within DRS range. He's using his battery, which is actually completely empty at the moment. And we see Tomasz Kokony actually, I thought he actually went for a move there, but he didn't. He still backs out once again. Does this allow Deha to get within DRS range? He does, but he wasn't there within the DRS detection zone. So he'll have to struggle to stay.
Sadly, I believe you cut out.
We'll find out in a few laps' time.
Well, you sadly cut out for the last about 10 seconds.
Oh, that's a big shame.
Yeah,
because I was on a roll.
Discord being Discord. We definitely think it's a problem with Discord, because it seems to be happening to both of us. So
yes,
it's happening both ways. So yeah, apologies for that tonight. That there's some awkward silences and some odd things going on. But we're getting down to the last 3 laps of tonight's race. Please tell me in the live chat, who do you think is going to be winning tonight's race? Who do you think's got the best chance? Luca Wolstow, Tomasz Kokony, or Deha? Could it be someone else? Could it be Ryan Grob? Could that man do a miracle and get the win? Or could even the man of Alessandro Finn win? Who knows? Anything could happen in the space of 3 laps, but it's shortly going to become 2.
Yeah, they're going to have to be a lot of things happening if Alessandro Finn wants to win this race. It's just not been his race whatsoever. He's been involved in some hard fights leading to damage, and now he finds himself in last place of those who are still driving around this track. Deha, though, now well within DRS range, and Tomasz Kokony might be going for the move here, but he still isn't. And his opportunities to make that move, the big moment, are starting to run out. And I think, to be fair, he's thinking probably he only needs one good moment to strike. A bit further back, it's Stefano Ramazio getting past Dmitry Minik. Minik's starting to drop down a little bit more once again. He was doing really well in P6. He's now down to 8th. Polkis is driving away as well. He finds himself in a position 1 better than he started with. So his soft tire strategy has definitely somewhat paid off for him. But now, of course, the struggle is going to start as his tires will drop off very soon. Ryan Grob and Ivan Santamaria are still very close together. We saw there Dmitry Minik definitely not deciding to give in to Ramazio's charge, who's been making up 3 places since this race start. Minik doesn't want to back out just yet. There's still some opportunities for him to strike. How is his battery doing? There's still some tiny bit of juice in it. Yumayo is trying to catch with those 2 cars as well. So, yeah, there's still some fights going on track. Nothing has been decided yet, especially the lead of this race.
That's going to be something quite interesting. And we're about to go on to the last and final lap. And sadly for us, Brett, I might be the man to take over and ruin your job on the last lap. But here we go. Top 3, it's Luca Wolstow, Tomasz Kokony versus Deha. All 3 of them going to fight each other, and also a couple of battles further back. And here comes Tomasz Kokony round the outside. He's trying to make a move. I do think Deha is out of his chance here. But you can see Tomasz Kokony still trying to stay in there. He's using his EOS. He's going to try and go for it, using all of his EOS. Pushing. He's going to wait till the next straight. He's definitely waiting till the next straight. We're currently running on board with Tomasz Kokony. He is using everything he has to try and make the move. And now for Luca Wolstow, he wants to convert that pole to a victory. He wants to do what Charles Leclerc sadly can't do. But now, let's see what can happen. We can see Dimitri Minik making his way back past Stefano Ramesio for P7. And so that looks like it's a little bit more sealed because he is getting away quite well at the moment, away from the Ferrari man. But we're going to be running on to the next straight. Let's see what can happen here. 6.5 tenths off. That's going to be a very big push for Tomas Kokony. But it looks like it might be all too late and not enough. That one chance into turn 1 might have been it because he's now half a second behind. And it looks like Luca Wallstone might bring home a victory here. Pole to victory. It looks very good. Although it was a proper pole position, he started in first and he will finish first here tonight. Let's see what can happen. It looks like the top 3 are already confirmed for how it's going to go. Going down into the last and final corner of all. The winner, the first winner of Season 17 in WOR PC Tier 3 is going to be Luca Wallstone. He wins in Bahrain for round 1. And what a win it is for the AlphaTauri. Tomas Kokony is second with Dehar in third. A good start to his season. Ivan Sandomir, his return to WR PC Tier 3 is brilliant because he's P4 with Ryan Grob P5, Polkis 6th, and Dimitri Minik still holding over his position of 7th, just over Stefano Ramesio by small amounts.
Yeah, Luca Wallstone has definitely kept his cool out there. He just fended off Tomas Kokony as well as he could have done, and it's a brilliant victory for him. A strong start to the season for the man in the AlphaTauri. Of course, Kokony can't be too disappointed with this result. He's started in third, finished in second. And I'd say that Demichoglu will be really satisfied with the status of his battery, concerning all of those things, still finishing in third position. Well done to him. Ivan Santamaria, he started fourth, finished fourth. And then there's Ryan Grob, who just complained in the Discord about his force feedback, which screwed his whole race, according to him. And still finished fifth. So if his force speed up would have worked, where could he have finished? We'll never know.
Yeah, we will never know, sadly. But it's round 1, of course. The stewards' report's not out. There might be a report or two. I don't see that there will probably be many, since it was quite a clean race from everybody. But there is our race winner. He's got the caps of Brendan Lee. Interesting to have for the Brits. So let's have a look at the race results. The man who took pole, kind of, started first, Luca Wallstone, wins here in PC Tier 3 on debut as well. A great start for the Brit. Tomas Kokony, on his return to the tier, gets second place. Very nice to be on the front row. Dehar gets third, with Ivan Santamaria on his return finishing fourth. Ryan Grob finishes fifth. Polkis 6th. Dimitri Minik 7th. Stefano Ramesio 8th. Yuma 9th. Quentin Dupree 10th. With that being the last of the points positions, actually. So a bit of a tough one there. Candy King finishes 11th. Keanu Latour is 12th with a bad race from 5th to 12th. Emil Sorito 13th. Danico 14th. And Alessandro Finn 15th. Here are our retirees. Wilson Hall is 16th with Mizzy, Balin Leakeys, and Al Jat. And also, of course, our pole position taker as well. All round, pretty decent.
A very decent first race, especially for those who were driving at the front. They kept their noses clean, stayed out of all the trouble. Just waited for the right moment to strike. Unfortunately for Tomas, it came too late for him. He waited a bit too long, in my opinion. Could have been a bit more aggressive, perhaps, because Luca Wallstone was there to defend when it was necessary. Some good races from Dimitri Minik, Stefano Ramazio, Umayo, Petaya, also done a great race. Quentin Dupuis also climbed a few positions since the race start. Yeah, as you said, Keanu Latour. Not sure what happened with him tonight, but he just wasn't there. Started 5th, finished 12th. Not what he would have liked, of course. Danico, feel like could have done better as well. Of course, his drive-through definitely didn't help him whatsoever, but still finishing within about 3 seconds of Amos Lorito is somewhat okay-ish, I'd say. But let's see if anybody's able for an interview. I'm not sure if you've tagged them already. You're actually tagging them right now, as I can see. Let's hope they'll be giving us some interesting insights from the racer's point of view, which is always nice to know a few things about.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what our drivers think. We'll wait for them to get into the waiting for interview box. We're going to wait a minute or two for them. Yeah, so you see a couple of drivers still saying about bugs that happened during the race. Danny Coe being one of them.
Yeah,
So definitely
that is a bit of a worry.
So maybe I'm just starting to think slightly. Maybe it wasn't just me tonight that was having problems with the lobby or internet or anything. But yeah, so definitely something interesting there. Yeah, just let's wait to see if they want to do an interview. If you could send the message.
Oh, you want me to send a message?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked
I
you
thought-
like a minute.
thought you were
ago.
taking.
No.
I didn't hear that then. Let's just blame it on Discord. Let's see.
Yeah, blame it on
Tamas.
Discord.
We also have Luca, and of course we have the interviews. If you like. Let's see which of the three, or perhaps all three of them, are willing to give us some insight.
We barely had
Yeah,
it.
what
last
happened?
season. We barely had it. Barely any.
Yeah, it was a rarity, which is unfortunate. Let's hope there will be to drop in. Of course, some drivers, fair enough, feel like their English isn't comfortable enough to, their English skills don't feel comfortable enough to give a proper interview, which is fair enough, of course. But let's see if any of these three are able to. I've sent it about a minute ago now, almost. Still nobody in. So
Yeah,
let's just
so-
wait a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Which
wait a
allows
minute.
me to ask you a question for once.
What?
You're a driver of the day.
Oh, that's difficult. You'll really make it difficult. I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna say Dimitri Minik.
That's a fair choice, yeah. He's made up many positions, of course, from 18th up all the way till P7, was it in the end, I believe?
Yep.
So, yeah, good strategy because he made it work. And that's truly impressive.
It really is. Let's while we wait, let's have a little look at the stand. Let's have a little look at the calendar. Sorry, I can't even say calendar. Of course, we've done Bahrain round one of 10. We've gone a bit different this season for it. Saudi Arabia will be at round 2, followed by Imola, which will be round 3, Azerbaijan round 4, with Canada being round 5 and our midway point in the season. Round 6 being at Monza. Yes, we've got 2 Italian flags, but one's at Imola and one's at Monza. Temple of Speed, here we come. And then we go to China, the last race of last season, but it's going to be round 7 out of 10 for this season on April the 15th. Then round 8 will be Austria, round 9 will be Miami, and on May 6th will be the final race around the fan favourite Brazil. I believe the driver's got to have a choice on that one, if I'm correct.
Luca is actually willing to give us an interview, so I've invited him to join the Waiting for Interview voice channel. So let's hope he'll be joining very soon. I'm curious to see what our race winner has to say about this race, how he kept his head cool up there, how his defensive ability has worked out so well for him. What is his point of view, especially since he inherited pole position pretty much from a internet struggles-ridden Gabriel Quintino. And there he is. I'm going to drag in him now, and I'll let you do the honors for the interview. Luca Walsto joining us here.
Hello. Hello, Luke. It's very nice to finally be able to speak to you. Well done on the race victory. It's a great debut here in PC Tier 3. How does it feel to win under the lights in Bahrain?
Yeah, no, it felt good. Definitely helped starting up the front of the grid. Converting a pole into a win is it's not as easy as it sounds, but yeah, it was quite a calm-driven race. Just don't do anything silly, keep under the limits, and bring it home until the last lap. And yeah, it was a decent drive, to be honest.
How was it racing? Of course, a very experienced driver in Tier 3, but also just a very experienced driver overall, Tomas Kokeny, because he was really close to you. He really put pressure on you throughout the race. You two were almost stuck together throughout the whole 29 laps. How was it racing against the McLaren man?
Yeah, no, I realised on like early lap 20s it was more going to be sort of a 1v1 for the finish because the back sort of dropped off with pit stops and traffic. So I made sure by lap 20 it was time to start preparing for lap 29. Make sure the batteries all recouped, and he made it clear at the end of the race that he wanted me to lead into the last lap, which is why I wanted to lead into the last lap anyway. So I didn't mind leading into the last lap, and yeah, I was comfortable going into the last lap. Had enough of a gap onto the straight, so it all went out as I planned anyway, and I just dropped a little bit more pace in the last lap on the second and third sectors, so it went perfectly pretty much.
So, Frostbreath, do you have any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, you inherited pole position, of course, after some unfortunate internet struggles by Gabriel. Had he been there, what would your chances have been for the race win? Because how do you see him as a potential rival?
I think it would have been. I think he would have just been another added car to the train. I think it would have been me and Tamas up front, and then if he didn't, if he was there, he probably would have been a three-way fight for the win. So it definitely would have made it harder, him being there. I'm not complaining he wasn't there. It was definitely makes my life a little bit easier, him not being there, and only have one less car to worry about for the win. But yeah, I'm sure if he was there, it would have been good fights for the win. And yeah, I still believe I would have come out on top anyway. So, but yeah, it would have been nice to have seen him in the race.
Yep, definitely. Also, your teammate, were you in contact with him this race?
I was not in contact with him this race.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, just one more question about the tires. We've seen some drivers go from hard to soft or from soft to mediums.
Yep.
Which tire strategy was the fastest according to you?
Hard medium is the fastest strat around Bahrain. You can start on softs, but they die too quickly, and the overcut's really strong around Bahrain. So the hard medium is just one of those tracks where if you don't go hard medium, you're gonna really suffer. So go hard, drag them out to lap 14 to 16, and pit onto the mediums, and the mediums make it quite nicely. And yeah, it's without a doubt hard medium is the best strat. Anything else is just you're just gonna suffer mid, point, or end of the race. So.
Right. Sounds like a very good insight indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your victory, and we'll see you next week.
You. Good job, guys.
Cheers. And that's actually going to be our only interviewee tonight, unfortunately. Deja messaged me back. He was... Deja was actually... Props to him for finishing in third place while not feeling well. Tamas, unfortunately, hasn't replied. Might have missed the message. But yeah, those were the interviews. The single interview for the night.
Not the interviews, it's one. But yeah, it's been a great night. Great way to start season 17, even with some of the problems we've been having here tonight. Not sure whether it's me or it's anything. Nothing is popping up for me on my system to show that it was me. So completely no clue. But definitely we'll be checking. But yeah, really great race. Well done to everybody in that race, to be honest. It was a very tough one. Bit of dirty driving, a couple of moments. But overall, very good. Very great to see the return to racing. We all have missed it. And also, don't forget, we're going to have real life F1 this week, but it's on a Saturday. So it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, so definitely, it's been great. It's been great commentating alongside you once again, Frostbreath, and I hope it's always a great season as well. Have you got any last words? That I don't mean in life. I mean tonight, but hopefully you'll be here.
That wouldn't be something. Last words in live on a stream. I'll not try to jinx as much next week.
Yeah, don't talk about a Williams once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so sadly that is it. But thank you so much to everybody for tonight. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to WOR. We're trying to get further. We just reached 20,000 subscribers. It's an absolute brilliant milestone. Hopefully to the next 30,000. Let's try and get to 50,000 soon. Hopefully we'll get there. Also, just thank you to everybody. Also leave a like on this stream to show some support to me and Frostbreath. And one last thing. Click on that notification bell to ultimately get notifications about tier 3. You want to see tier 3, you're gonna get notified about it at every other stream. We have also got PC. We got lots of PC action. We've got more coming. We've got another 9 races of PC action, and we got console action starting from Thursday, So there's definitely going to be a lot, and I believe we also have console tier 1 on Wednesday, so it's going to be very, very exciting to see the console side. It's been me, and I've been with Frostbreath. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has enjoyed it. Please go and follow us on Twitter at WOR League, and also join our Discord server down below. Also, thank you to our sponsors of Next Level Racing and Grid Finder. I hope everybody has a great night, great day, and great week. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Cheers.